So obviously Tom's still in Amsterdam, tiptoeing through the tulips. That's what kind of comes to mind when I think about Tom and Denise and those guys over there. And I'm excited that they're having a great time. And really they just, it's just a great example of where we'd like to be, at least for myself. I love the traveling. I love going around the country. And so, you know, when I very first got into network marketing, I had a completely different mindset. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. But I'm going to kind of go through this PowerPoint. I'm going to screen share up here. But I wanted to find out, and this is kind of going to be interactive. So you don't necessarily have to give me your answers on some of these questions, but I do want you to write them down and I want you to think about them. All right. Hang on here. Getting my screen share up. Okay, good. Okay. So I'm going to put the little chat in. Hold on here because I've got to do the, where did that go? Like the little chat window, it goes off to the side whenever I do this up to find it. Oh, maybe it's down here. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today was your mindset. And when I say check your mindset at the door, I asked in the training, you know, what that meant to some people. And so what my thought was is when you get invited to something or when you go to participate in something, what is your mindset about it, right? What are you thinking about it? What goes through the thought process of, and maybe you can even think about it as network marketing, right? So where were you at when somebody invited you into network marketing? What was your mindset? What was your thought process? Where were you in the state of, okay, hold on, I found my chat thing. Network marketing, right? So when I think about people, where my mindset was, at one point I was like, you know, I've owned my own business. I owned a marketing and advertising business. I was the president of this company. I met with VPs. I did all this amazing, you know, stuff. And then now I'm a vitamin salesperson, right? That was where my mindset was when I first got into longevity. I got, you know, I was doing the products and so what I had a completely different mindset, right, than what I do now. So I want you to think about right now, I want you to check your mindset. So we're checking our mindset at the door or, you know, just wherever you are presently. What is your mindset around network marketing? And again, you don't have to share it, but I want you to think about it. Like, are you just a vitamin salesperson? Are you, you're a network marketer? What comes to mind when you think about who you are and what you're doing in longevity? Okay, and just jot that down for your own sake. And I'm going to ask some other questions. We're going to do some other things. Okay, so what I want you to think about is what your definition is of mindset, right? What comes to mind when somebody says, what's your mindset around that? Or what's your thought process? Or where are you at as far as what your thinking is? What does that look like to you? And so I just, you know how fun it is to Google and get definitions. So I got a definition, a couple of definitions actually. And so the free dictionary says is that when you type in mindset, it says a fixed mental attitude or disposition that predetermines a person's response to interpretations of situation. So what your interpretations are of this situation, right? That's your mindset. Okay, that's their definition. The Urban Dictionary, people who have mindset changes can usually see them days in advance. I just didn't know if I understood this. Through their dreams. People dreaming about what their mindsets are going to be. However, what the change of the mindset will be remains a mystery until it is experienced. So I was thinking about this. I was thinking about places that I've gone or things that I've done within network marketing, and what kind of experience I had when I showed up, right? Where my mindset was, and what kind of experience I had when I showed up. I don't know if it was in my dreams, but I do know that I wasn't exactly sure how the experience was going to show up until I understood my mindset about it. Some other definitions. This one was, it's called the online, what is it? Your brains and talent don't bring success, okay? How they can stand in the way of it. Why praising brains and talent doesn't necessarily work. So a lot of times people's mindset are, oh my gosh, that guy's a doctor. He's going to rock longevity. Or I remember there was this lady that came in who was a pharmacist, like Pharmacist Ben, right? And everybody was like, oh my gosh, she's just going to rock longevity. But her mindset wasn't there. Her mindset wasn't that she could rock longevity. So she didn't. So many times what we're perceiving, what our mindset is, or thought process or whatever about someone in this business, how they can be greatly successful, and then they're not. So a person's usual attitude or mental state in his or her mindset. If you have if you're an environmentalist mindset, you probably bring your own bags to the grocery store. Does that make sense? Where you are in your life, in your mindset around certain things, you will do things because of your mindset, of what your belief is in that particular incident. Okay. So what is your mindset? Hopefully you guys have been thinking about that a little bit. What is your mindset around network marketing? I read a book a long time ago, and it's called Tapping the Source. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the master key system, but it's around that. And Tapping the Source, there was a quote in there from Charles Hannell. And it says, because the thoughts you hold in your mind determine what happens in your life, it's vital that you assume conscious responsibility for your thoughts. So think about this. You're going to convention. What's your mindset around that? I'm going to go. I don't know anybody. I don't even know why I'm going. I'm not really making any money in this business. I probably shouldn't go. I had one guy told me, he said, well, I'm not going to go until I have a team. And I said, well, how are you going to learn to build a team unless you go to convention and learn how to build a team, right? So people have a mindset around where they are in network marketing, what's going on, you know, why maybe why they're not good enough, or how they can look around and see all these other people and how good they are. And so all of a sudden you're having this, have you guys ever had this, like a conversation in your mind that at 1 minute you're excited and 5 minutes later you're depressed? So you're excited about going and doing something, and then all of a sudden you've talked yourself out of your excitement and why you shouldn't be there. And so what Charles is saying here is that we really have to take responsibility for our thoughts. And how many of you would like to change some of your thoughts, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that. But what happens is when I sit down with somebody for longevity, and I'm doing a coffee shop interview, right? I am listening to someone's language. I'm listening to the words that are coming out of their mouth. I am listening to really, they're verbalizing their mindset about something, about life itself. Things could be bad. This isn't working. This person doesn't like them, so they don't get along at work. On and on and on. Have you ever sat down and talked with someone like that? You're listening to their language. You know exactly what their mindset is. You know, life is really just kind of pooping on them. And you have to figure out by listening to them if you can help them or not. And sometimes, and Tom quoted this to me one time because I was telling him about this person, and I said they need a lot of work, right? Their mindset isn't even anywhere close to doing something within longevity or doing something in their life, making any changes. And so he said, they got to go kiss some frogs, right? Sometimes people have to go kiss some frogs or do things in order for them to get to the spot where their mindset is, where they can come back and now they can do network marketing. That's why a lot of times when you talk to people, they're not in that space yet. And so taking responsibility of your thoughts, right? Your conscious thoughts, and then also understanding better where people are coming from. What I love so much about network marketing and being in personal development is that you're really learning about yourself so you can do better, but you're also learning about the people around you. So listen to people's language, and that will explain to you what their mindset is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask some questions, and I want you guys to do two things here. So when I had my own business, how I decided that I hated my business, and which I owned, and I was the boss, and I wanted to quit, was I took a spiral notebook and I wrote down everything I did in a day for probably like 2 days, because that's about all it took. And everything I did, I would say, oh, I'm on the phone with Sally right now. I'm trying to collect some money. I feel sick to my stomach. Or I just like my emotion around what I was doing was ripping me apart, basically. At the end of the day, I was exhausted. I was miserable. There were other things I did throughout the day. So for instance, if I was meeting with a client or a friend or something and I was having coffee and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having coffee with my friend and I feel great. And so after about a day and a half of writing down everything that I did in that day in my business, I realized I hated it. And yet if someone had asked me, oh, you own your own business, how does that feel? Oh, I love it. I love owning my own business. But that was not really the feeling that I had around it. And so I had to kind of take a step back right after doing this. And I don't even know why I decided to do it. It just came to my head to do it. And I realized how much I didn't like what I was doing. And so then I started writing down the things, like having coffee with my friends. I always say that's what I want to do. I want to get paid to have coffee with my friends. Really what I wanted to do was get paid to have coffee with my friends, to have solutions, right? Now we have a solution. We have longevity. It can be a financial solution. It can be a health solution. But I'm going to ask these questions, and I want you guys you got to go with me on this one, right? So the very first thought, the very first emotion, whatever comes into mind, that's what you have to write down. Okay. So, what do you think about the outfit you're wearing today? Are you like, I am sassy? Or are you like, gosh, I'm just wearing these dumpy old clothes. I've had them forever. I'd like to get a new outfit. Okay. This is my favorite. So how do you guys feel about doing laundry? What's the first thing that comes into mind? I have a friend who absolutely loves doing laundry. For me, I cannot even conceive that. I don't mind it, but I certainly don't love it. Okay. How do you feel about cooking? I like it, but not love it. Okay. How do you feel like about? Oh, there you go. On the grill only. My husband does most of the cooking. I love to cook waffles and eggs. I like breakfast. I like to cook that. But if it's like, what's for supper? I'm like, ugh. I kind of have a little bit of an angst on that. Of course, now my kids are older and, we can just go do stuff, so it's not so good. Okay. How do you feel when somebody says, we're having a super Saturday and I really want you to come? We're having a super Saturday and I really want you to come. Some of these were in reference to our trip, or our super Saturday, so I got to scoot down here. Okay. how do you feel when somebody says, oh my gosh, you have got to go to convention? It's like the most important thing you need to do. You need to go to convention. What's your mindset around that? What emotion, what comes into mind? I mean, I can remember the first time somebody told me I needed to go to convention, and I'm like, I don't even have money to buy groceries. You know, if any of you have seen my talk about Top Ramen, but guess what? I figured out a way because I knew I wanted to do this business. So my mindset was it was going to cost some money, but I was excited, even though I was still excited. Okay. What's your mindset when somebody asks you, oh, so how's your longevity business going? What comes to mind right away? Is it, wow, unbelievable? Now that could go either way, right? It could be unbelievably bad or unbelievably good. But you don't have to, you know, fill it out. Okay, stable. Okay. All right. The other one is, what's your thought when somebody tells you, you know, how do you feel when somebody says, oh, you need to read the book, Go Pro? Okay. You need to read the book, Go Pro. Good. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah. Maybe it's like, why do I need to read that? Okay. And we'll kind of go back around on some of these. How do you feel when someone asks you about network marketing? You're in network marketing? I'm like, all the smart people aren't you? My mindset has changed so much over the years. Okay. Okay, so and I got two more questions. Okay, so not all of us are doing this business as couples. I know some of you guys are. Some of us are single, or not me, but some people are single. But okay, for those who have spouses or what have you, what do you think? How do you feel about what your husband thinks about what you're doing? Alone. Who's alone? Brenda. Doesn't care. Okay. My friend thinks it's BS. My whole family thinks it's BS. I can't even talk about it in front of my in-laws. Okay. And then for the opposite, then what is your spouse? You know, what does your wife think about it? And sometimes, you know, people have asked me, oh my gosh, my husband just, you know, doesn't believe anything that I'm doing. But then I have to ask you, how much do you believe in what you're doing? Okay. Or your spouse, you know, your opposite. Because I know for me, when I didn't have a heavy duty belief system around what I was doing, and my husband would say something, because he's like, you know, this is your deal. You just do it. I love you. I'll support you. Just make some money quickly. And as most of you discovered in network marketing, it's not always so quickly that you can make money. Because again, we have to get our mindset. I was thinking about where my mindset was, and then I had this switch, right? Because I was in the corporate world for, 20 years and more than that. I owned my own business almost that long. And then 13 years I was in the corporate world prior to that. But I always think about the ferry boat, the big boat where it's got the big wheel and how it spins and spins and spins. And then all of a sudden, if they have to reverse, it kind of stops. But it really takes a long time to turn that water, right? To get that water flowing again. And that's how I felt like my mindset was. Like I got, like all of a sudden it clicked. But then I knew I didn't know everything yet. I knew I hadn't figured it all out yet. And so on some of these thoughts, right? Like I didn't even realize maybe that I had a bad thought, that I had a negative thought about network marketing until somebody asked me. And then all of a sudden something would go through my head and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I believe in this. I don't know if I believe in myself. I don't know if I believe in the company. And so what happened was I would go to the convention and my belief level would go up, especially about the company and the mission and Dr. Wallach and what was going on. And then, my belief would go up about the products and experiences. And then my belief would start to go up about myself. And so that was... Is it okay if I just turn my phone on too? Yeah, I'm doing a video right now. Okay. Anyway, so that you would just... I lost my train of thought there. Sorry. Somebody came. Okay. Anyway, but so by attending these different things and reading the books, just like somebody said, well, why would I read GoPro? Why would I even spend the money to read GoPro? Why would I spend the money to go to a convention? And so what came to mind for me is that when I was in the corporate world and I had to do all this other stuff and things for my business that were ridiculous, I didn't understand what longevity was or what network marketing was in the realm of unlimited income, right? So I would do whatever it took over here. But then if you come over here, why aren't we reading the books? Why aren't we doing the things that the leaders are telling us to do? Because it looks silly. It looks silly to us because we have not switched our mindset over to the fact that we have an unlimited income within network marketing, right? And so suddenly I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to do more personal development for myself. And somebody asked me, what are my top 5 books? And I had to do, my mindset was all around money. I didn't believe that I deserved money. I didn't believe I could make a lot of money. And so I had to do a lot of things around that. Maybe your belief is that you don't have a good belief about network marketing. Like some of these questions, depending on how you answer them in your mind, right, can tell you whether you have a good belief or a bad belief, can tell you if the people you're talking to have a good belief or a bad belief. And in network marketing that people don't understand, that's why we always get the thing like, oh, is this some kind of a scam or something? But nobody ever really asks me that anymore. I used to get that question, but people don't ask me that anymore because I don't approach them in the sense of how I did before. And so my mindset is different. My language is different. My language is different around network marketing. So how do we change our mindset? So I'm going to give you some little tips that I learned along the way, especially from Charles Hannell and some other books that I read. And again, I read more or audiobooks and what have you. I don't even know how many books I've read over the last couple of years, but whenever I think of something that I feel like I need to know more about for myself, or more about network marketing. Like right now I'm going back through, I have the GoPro book. I'm reading the audio or listening to the audio of that for about the 3rd time. So how do we change our mindset? There's all kinds of ways. We just need to recognize that we want to do it. Okay. That our language isn't what we want it to be. That when somebody says something to us, because I've seen this before, things are coming out of people's mouths, but they don't believe it. You've ever seen that? Where somebody is they're telling you something, but you're not convinced that they believe what's coming out of their mouth. And so in this business, you have to be authentic. And so here's some techniques that I wrote down. I mean, certainly reading books will help, but whenever a negative thought would come into my head, so for instance, I don't know, one of these examples, like if somebody said, read GoPro. And I was like, why would you read that book? You're not that good at network marketing, or, whatever that thought would be. All of a sudden I would say to myself, I'm impervious to that thought because I don't want to have that thought. When somebody says you should read GoPro, because Tom even said this, it was so funny because he said, how long has it been since you read Go Pro? And I said, well, it's been a while. He said, you should reread it again. And my thought process, mindset was, yeah, I should. And I immediately downloaded it, and I didn't think twice about it. So that it's taken a while for me to get there. And so whenever a negative thought would come into my mind, if somebody asked me about network marketing or whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about, I would just, a lot of people have used the word cancel. I use the word impervious. So if someone says something to me that in the past, right, I might have been thinking something negative, and now it's even hard to even give an example. Many of you may know what I'm talking about. Uh-oh, somebody's not muted. Make sure you're muted, you guys. I would have a negative thought. And so I'm impervious to that. I'm not going to think that, right? Because I have to be conscious of my thoughts. And how can I change my thoughts? Everybody's like, how can I change my thoughts? That's just what my thoughts are. Well, you can change it. You can make a paradigm shift. So when something, I was laughing because I'm driving down the road and I would be, oh, I'm impervious to that. Oh my God, I'm impervious to that, because I did not even recognize how much negative thoughts I had continually. Okay, that's Trish, my friend, not some creepy guy. Anyway, some weird guy was in here earlier. It was a little scary. And I'm pretty sure he was like wasted because I could smell it. And he was out there. Anyway, but it's like the things that were floating through my brain that I absolutely had no conscious understanding of what was going on and what my thought process was around that and how I would feel terrible at the end of the day. Or somebody would say something to me and I'd feel sick to my stomach because inside I had horrible thoughts about myself around that. Or if somebody said, something about money, I was talking about that earlier. So if anybody said, oh, I got to go home and pay my bills, I literally wanted to throw up because you know what? I couldn't pay my bills. And so as soon as somebody said anything about money, but here's what I would think all day long, I'd be like, all I need to do is make enough money to pay my bills, pay my bills, pay my bills. And at the end of the month, we'd pay our bills. But guess what? We didn't have any money for gas. We didn't have any money for food. We didn't have any money for the other things. So then I had to start changing my mindset and going, you know what? I need more than enough money. I need more than enough money to do all the things that I want to do, right? Because I wanted my thought process to be different. So as soon as somebody would say something and I was like, oh my God, I'm impervious. I'm impervious to that. I'm impervious to that thought. I'm not going to let that penetrate. I'm not going to let that go any further. And now, this is honest, I cannot even remember the things that were going on in my brain that were negative. And so we've got to be conscious of what we're thinking about network marketing. We've got to be conscious about what we're thinking about if we can make money or not. We've got to be conscious if we can, understand how we can look at some, Tom's always, it's so funny because everybody's already like, oh, you got your own radio show, so that's why you're so successful. Tom, we do that radio show. We don't get paid anything. We don't make any money. There's nobody pays for advertising on the Tom Chenault Show, but people come on and they listen and they hear great speakers, right? It's all about educating. It's all about bringing these people to you guys so you can hear them, that you might not ever even get to hear these people or even read their book or understand anything about what they're talking about. And so we really do it for all you guys. And hopefully you guys are getting on there on the Tom Chenault Show once in a while and listen in. We had a replay of Rita Davenport, who is a hoot, and she spoke at our convention. And so many of you who were there last year might know. But think about your mindset and then sit back. Like I was like, well, if I'm thinking I can't afford to read the books and I can't afford to go to a convention and I can't afford this and I can't afford that, when will I ever be able to afford that? Unless I change my mindset and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have more than enough money to go to convention. And every time since then, and I went to the first convention with a sleeping bag because I didn't know where I was going to stay when I got there. And my husband, and I was 50, And my husband goes, so you're leaving, right? And I go, yeah. And I drove, in a Kia minivan to Vegas.
You knew where you were staying.
I knew where I was staying. I knew, you know what? I knew that people loved me that were part of Longevity. And so I knew that I would have a place to stay. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the convention every year. That's my mindset. My mindset is I'm going to go no matter what. And Longevity comes out, they have those flexible payments. And so my mindset was like, every time they offer that, I'm going to jump on. And eventually things started changing. My business started growing. I started feeling more positive. I started feeling better about conversations with people. I started, everything just changed. And so by changing and becoming, and that's just it, you have to be conscious of what you're thinking about all the time. I'm not saying just in network marketing, I'm talking about all the time. And your language is a telltale about what you're thinking. And I know, so for instance, my husband, oh, we can't really afford that. I go, that's not true. We can afford it. We're just choosing to do something different with our money, right? What if our whole mindset is that we can't afford things, guess what? Then we can afford them. And so the way to change your mindset is to become conscious of what your thoughts are. So and I kind of said this, I kind of modified the quote a little bit, and I just say, we have to be responsible and be conscious of our unconscious thoughts, right? Because that's what comes out. That's what shows up. So I was in a bunch of car accidents, and nothing major, but I did get T-boned once and was kind of pinned in the front seat of the car. A couple of whiplashes. It got to the point where I was scared to death, but I didn't want to tell anybody to get out, to go anywhere. And my husband was even giving me the nickname of Crash. All right, well, don't crash today. Don't be in an accident today. What do you think was on my mind the whole time I was out there? Was, what if I'm in an accident today? And guess what? I think I had like 5. It was crazy. To decide our thoughts are going to lead, us to where we want. We need to think about what we are thinking about exactly, because then decide if our thoughts are going to lead us to where we want to be exactly. And if our negative thoughts, but a lot of times people are like, I don't know how to get rid of them. And so use a word. I looked in the dictionary. Impervious means that nothing can penetrate that, right? So whatever we believe, that's what our mind perceives. Whatever we think reality is, then that's our reality. And that's where I was at. I was in a space in my life where, my daughter was in a near fatal car accident. I wasn't working. We were losing everything. And we thought we were in a situation where we were safe, but you never know. And so really I had to completely revamp my mindset of what my thoughts were on a daily basis. And like I said, suddenly I could just say when something negative started coming, I would just I'm impervious to that. And even sometimes people will be standing in the front of the room, and especially like at network, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a meeting where you're like, oh my God, they're talking about me. They're saying that right there because they know what's going on, and they don't know. They're just talking about it, but we feel, either guilty or feel that there's something that's holding us back. And so because we are not privy to what our thought process is around something, what our mindset is, suddenly it just takes it away. And so changing your mindset, you can, if you don't have a mentor, get a mentor. And lots of people are my mentors, because they've written great books. And, there's Amy Cuddy in Presence, and the Michael Singer, Untethered Soul, and all these other things on how to let things go and how to really live more of a freer life in your, without having a mindset that is limiting you. And so you've got to just expand on that and start understanding that there's a lot of things that you can bring to the table by reading the books or by doing the things, or even, talk to your upline. If something is starting to spiral with you, or you've got a thought that you need to get rid of, talk to somebody in your upline. Listen to a great song that you love that changes the way you feel, right? And do the things, and don't let your mindset spiral down. That's one of the things that I have to do sometimes. I call my upline, which is Trish, my friend who just walked in the door, who believed in me. And that's why she offered me this business and this opportunity. And that's it. When you get that mindset, when you understand that really, this is so incredible what we have here today. And Tom believes that with all of his core, that when he talks to somebody about this business, that his mindset is with confidence, because he knows that people can make money. I sat in the room just like everybody else, right? And so I know that I can do this business because that's my mindset. That's where I've gone. And that's what I want to believe, right? And so as my belief has gone up, I've, obviously been more and more successful. And so if you change your mindset, you'll change your life. And I know that because I did it. And I've seen people around me do it as well. Trish. Yeah. Come here. Trish and I. I'm gonna get on the Zoom. Oh, were you? Okay, get on there. No, that don't take me too long. Oh, okay. Trish was gonna get on, but I wanted her to share some stuff with you because her and I came into this business together. You can sit on my lap. We're that close. And beautiful, my friend. Yes. And she came to me, and that we got in together about like a month apart or something, like you. Not even. So neither one of us knew what the heck we were doing, running around like chickens with our heads cut off, right? But deep down inside, we knew we could do this. We knew it.
We knew we could. We also knew we had to.
Yeah.
And no matter how life was, and it was not good, we still had hope. Yeah. And that's something that, and I don't think everyone has. I mean,
yeah. Well,
you're going to have people in your business that you have to teach them how to hope again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have people, the ones that come off the blocks, who know. They just know that they know that they know. And that's the people that have hope. And those are the people, hi, honey, that who are ready, willing, and able.
And seriously, when we came into network marketing, and I'd been in before and never made any money, and my husband's like, I told him I'll never do network marketing again. And he believed me, but really deep down inside, I knew that the opportunity and what was there was real. I just knew that. But Trish and I mean, neither one of us, really, we didn't have much hope when we came. I think we got hope after we were here, after we saw what the opportunity was.
We saw the potential.
Yeah. We had hope because we saw the potential, but prior to that, before we saw this, we really didn't know what we were going to do. I mean, we were both dealing with some pretty raunchy personal stuff, financially, emotionally, the list goes on, right?
Bulk ramen and $5 bag day at the used clothing store.
Yep. We would both of us would go to the used clothing store when it was, $1 bag day or something. I don't know.
Probably $1.
Yeah. So we would run around yelling, this is a 12 and this is a 2. And find clothes for our kids to wear. And I literally, and I don't tell this too much, but I had to pawn a bunch of stuff. I pawned a bunch. I even pawned, if you could believe this, my dead husband, my husband who passed away 3 months after we got married when I was 21. I had to pawn his senior ring. And I just said, thank you so much, because it helped me pay my car payment or get groceries for my kids. I mean, my mom passed away. She left me a bunch of jewelry. I pawned it all. So we were in desperate times. And so sometimes, think about it, where people are at, they're looking for something. They need hope. And while I knew I had to spend money to build this business, I was willing to do it, right? My friend was willing to do it for me. I don't recommend that, but she believed in me enough, that she helped me do that. And we've built a great business together, and we have a great team, and a team that we love so much, and that we enjoy doing life together. And I think that is what Tom is always trying to share with us, is that it's about doing life with people that you love and care about. And that's who our team is. That's who we are. We are doing life with people we love and care about. And everybody's come about in a different way. Some people we knew prior to Youngevity, and some people we just met along the way. But understand what it is that we have to share here in Youngevity, in network marketing, in this team, in this community, Youngevity Nation. And so get your mindset right, because it's so important if that's what you want to do. And I truly, truly believe that you have to meet people where they're at.
Yep. And while I don't recommend, supporting someone at the beginning of their business, I would do it all over again for Marianne.
Well, I know you would.
Yeah.
I know you would. And I paid her back, by the way. Oh, big time. Big time. Not only just by paying her back, but also by...
Because we built it. Yeah. We built it together.
We built it together. And we've done some great stuff together. And so while we are not necessarily, the 5-star or the 4-star or the 3-star, we're still having a great time. And we know that will come. And that, that's the other thing. We know that will come when we're ready. And when Youngevity is ready for us, it will come. And so we're just building and here's what I want to emphasize, a very, very strong foundation. And I encourage you guys to do the same. And by doing that, by building a strong foundation, by doing the things you need to do, by reading the books, by going to the conventions, by going to Eric Worre, do whatever you need to do to understand this business, to turn your mindset around, so that you not only believe in what we're doing, but you believe in yourself that you can do it. It's a little short today. Does anybody have anything that they want to say? Oh, recording in Mo. Yes. Yes.
So as far as, what did you say? Building your foundation. Think of it as your winter. You have periods of time that are winter, and what happens in winter? That's when our roots grow deeper and wider for the next growth period. And if you have shallow roots and a big fat wind comes along, i.e. another opportunity that looks like ground floor, blah, 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 shiny object, are those roots there? So you got to take care of growing those roots and be okay in your winter.
Yeah. And Eric Worre said the average person isn't successful in network marketing for about 7 years. And so think about that. I came in for a couple years. I kind of dabbled. I owned my own business. I slowly but surely started wrapping my mind around changing my mindset, about changing my life, really, about becoming a better me so I could help my team become better at who they wanted to be by doing the personal development, by reading the books. And so, that's what Tom always says, I look like the 20-year overnight success, right? It's taken him 20 years. Scott Fardulis has been in network marketing since he was like 17. 20 years. Louis Ariaza. So you see all these big leaders, and a lot of times people are like, I can't get there. Well, guess what? It's not about you getting to where they're at. It's about you getting to where you want to go. And sometimes people just want to sit in the room, and that's okay. And sometimes people want to, do more, be more, participate more, and that's okay. So never, ever, I don't want anybody ever to feel bad about where they're at. We're not here and you shouldn't be beating yourself up.
And don't let anyone else beat you up.
And don't let anyone else beat you up. Yeah. Figure out what it is that you want. Figure out where you want to go. And then let your upline or let a mentor or a book or something help you get there. Because that's really what I want to do. And thank you. We will have a great analogy about the winter. I like that. It's been hibernating way too long. We'll have this, up on the masters. I still have to get Super Saturday on there about going up and downward decks. Oh yeah, no, that's right. I mean, don't think, we had a little panel on Super Saturday, and people talked, sometimes you're like on this rocket ship and then all of a sudden, boom, some people that you never thought would drop off are gone. We've seen people who came in and, we're next thing you know, they're training in front of the room, and then 6 months later they're gone. And so think about who you want to be in this business, where you want your integrity to be. I just saw something about leadership and integrity, and feel good for yourself. That you think about all the great things that you've done. You've participated in longevity or taken the products, whatever it is. Pat yourself on the back. And if you want to do more, then do more. And if you're happy at where you're at, then be happy at where you're at. I apply this and I'm writing down to convince. Okay. Yeah, exactly. When you're asking people about going to convention and you understand how important it is, then you can explain to them how important it is. And if you are, asking people to do stuff in their business, what I want to know is like Sherry and John, right? They're on my team. I just love them to death, and they know that. And they come to me and I'm like, how can I help you? Right? What is it you guys want to be doing? I'm not saying you should be doing this, you should be doing that, right? I ask you what you want to do in this business, where you want to go, and we're working a plan. Am I right? And so ask yourself, where do I want to go? What do I want to do in this business? And sometimes we have to take a step back and look and go, well, geez, I got this great idea that where I want to go, but guess what? I'm not doing anything to get there. I haven't read the book. I don't even, somebody says go to convention. What people say to me, and this just cracks me up, when I'm going to go do something in Young, I go, oh yeah, I'm going to Australia, right? I went to Australia and I went down for the summit, and they're like, oh, you're working. I'm like, you know what? You don't understand. This never, ever feels like work to me. Never. This is so much fun. And so I'm going to San Antonio, and it was so funny. I was talking to a friend of mine, and, oh, I love San Antonio and this and this and this. And I said, yeah, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to be speaking because, we're doing a Super Saturday. And she's like, oh, it's for work. I'm like, no, you don't get it. It's fun. It really is fun. And so when you're doing this business, you got to be having fun. And it wasn't always that way for me because I was putting so much pressure on myself that, and I didn't know why, because I had to realize what my mindset was, right? People are telling me one thing, my mind's telling me something completely different. And so until I could get that straight with myself, that I'm doing this because of why I want to do it. I want to do it for a much bigger picture than what I even came in for in the beginning. And because I want to have solutions for people that I talk to, for my friends. And I want to have an opportunity to help people in ways that no one else is really, reaching out and trying to help them. And so once I wrap my head around that, this is important stuff, right? This is really important. And so who's the next person that you're going to help? Who's the next person that you've had a conversation with? You've done the coffee shop interview on. And know too, the coffee shop interview, that first thing is, it might not be the, you're not going to get that person's name and number and write them down and sign them up. That's not how it happens. It takes time. And so when you're doing this, you have to understand it's going to take some time, and it might take 5 or 6 different steps, right? 5 or 6 different conversations. Denise was talking about how she met this lady at some restaurant or something like that. And she didn't get her contact information. I don't even think she got her name because she was calling her the beautiful skin lady. And so, but she knows where she works, right? And she kind of had a little conversation, and she's going to go back and she's going to have another conversation. And maybe then she'll get some information from her, or maybe not. But again, what's her mindset? You know, I remember one time I sat down with Denise and we were doing a three-way with somebody, and the lady goes, "What's the thing that bothers you the most about network marketing?" And Denise goes, "That people don't get it," right? That people just don't get it. And once you're in, you know, once you're drinking the Kool-Aid, once you're in the whatever, and you get it. And so then the frustration becomes, how do you get people to change their mindset, right? But guess what? That's got to be up to them. They got to want to do it. So don't get frustrated. You know, don't get frustrated with people who don't have the right language yet, who don't have the right mindset yet, because they may find something or read a book or talk to someone else that changes that, that starts that. I mean, somebody gave me a book on my birthday, and, you know, it kind of started the perpetual of, I don't know if you guys have been to my website, but it's called Images Within the Journey of Self-Discovery, right? Because I went on this. Okay, all right, let's see what they were saying. This is the option of interviewing a new contact and deciding if she wants to. Oh, yeah. See, you want to decide if you want to work with somebody. That's huge in this business. In the corporate world, I never got to, you know, really choose who I got to work with. And you can lead a horse to water, right? But you can never make them drink. We're not here to convince anybody. We're just here to share. That's why telling your story is so powerful. And, you know, being that person of, and here's what I'm doing, you know, I'm helping people get their life back. I'm helping people build a financial stability, you know, that they might not have ever had, you know, the opportunity. And so then people are like, really, I want to know how you're doing that. I want to know what you're doing to do that. So what is this? And I can tell you that they will drink the water and some salt. That's very good. Yes, they'll drink the water if there's salt in there. All right, you guys, does anybody have any questions? Did you want me to go over anything, you know, or expand on anything? I know you guys ran a bunch of stuff, and I don't know that I got to read everything, but if there's anything that you want me to share, or if anybody wants to say something, you can unmute and say something if you want to say something. We got just like a couple more minutes. Oh, my website. Okay. I'll put that in. All right, that's my website. It's not my longevity website, but it's my own personal website. And I talk about my story. I do some blogs on there. I've done some videos. And I get people in my business, and they find my website, they find my videos, they find me on YouTube, and not necessarily some of this training and stuff, but, you know, they get to see who I am, right? Because I'm authentic. I like you, and thank you guys for doing that, because believe me, years ago, I could not have confessed any of this to anybody because I was so humiliated by what was going on in my life. And so I thought that I needed to keep it to myself, right? And even while I was smiling on the outside, I was really crying on the inside. And most people did not know that. And that's what we see every day, is people who are really crying on the inside, right? They're waiting for us to show up. They're waiting for somebody to be here and genuinely reach out. And, you know, somebody said to me, they were in a meeting, this networking meeting, and the guy, he said, you know, people, they don't really, what was it? They don't care until they know you care about them, or whatever that quote is. I can't remember what it is about. People don't care about you until they understand how much you care about them, or something. But really, people are just crying out all over the place, and they need something. And so we're just looking for those people that are ready. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Yes. Who wrote that? Oh, Priscilla, thank you. But it's true. And so I just become a part of people's lives. And while not everybody's in my business, I mean, quite a few people are. I was looking to how many people I had personally signed up, and it kind of blew me away. But not everybody's still in, and that's okay. A lot of people still order product, and some people are building, and so that's kind of where it goes, because if 1% is wealthy, right, or 1 to 3%, so you got to think about how many people you have in your business, and only like 1 to 3% are really going to do anything, right? And the other ones are going to order products, and that's okay. Polly's favorite saying: a lot of people are automatically defensive. Yes. Yeah. No, they are. Because, they don't have the right mindset, right? As soon as you meet somebody that has the same mindset, you're just like, woo, it's like glue. And then they still might not be ready, but that someday they'll be in your business. How many of you have people that you've had conversations with that someday they'll be in your business because of who they are, right? And those people, we just keep loving on them. That's what Tom says. Nobody can outlove Tom, and that is for sure. And so just keep loving on those people. And when the time is right, when the season's right, they'll come into your business. All right, you guys, I love you all. Thank you so much. I hope that helps out a little bit on how to change your mindset, because I think sometimes we make it more complicated than it needs to be. If you can change your mindset by just becoming conscious of your unconscious thoughts and then changing those, and just do a paradigm shift a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time. And when you hear something that you've said to yourself before, just go, I'm impervious to that, or cancel that thought. That's not a good thought. Cancel that, let it go. And you do that enough times, those thoughts disappear, and you don't even remember what it was you had negative thoughts about. And I can admit to that because that's what happened to me. All right, you guys, I love you all. Have a great evening, and I hope that helped. I know it's not quite as bring the rain. That's what Tom always said. Bring the rain. All right, you guys, have a great evening.